Fritzy gave me the official definition of a diva: a self-important person who is temperamental and difficult to please.
Negative connotation there.
Yeah. Antonio Brown, self-important, temperamental, difficult to please. But is T.O. the first diva wide receiver? Who's the first diva in the NFL? Was Dion the first diva? Because he was still a great team player.
He was more of a promoter. He was a self-promoter.
Yeah.
He created a character. He's invented a lot.
Yeah.
Dion did it before anybody.
Well, how about Joe Namath wearing a fur coat?
Yeah, Joe Namath.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would say Joe was the first.
He was a tough guy, though, right?
Meaning what?
I had playing through injuries, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of a steel belt guy. That's the ironic part.
Yeah. But was he a self-important person? I think Joe would take umbrage with that by calling him self-important and temperamental and difficult to please. Diva doesn't apply to Joe Namath. It doesn't. I think he was just flamboyant. Diva is when you take away from your team. Joe added to the team. I don't think he took away from the team. Whereas some of these wide receivers, it feels like, this is negative to be called a diva. I wouldn't call Joe Namath a diva. I saw this on Reddit, a list of diva history. It starts in 1965. The first diva player at any position was undoubtedly Joe Namath. Was he a diva? If you look at the definition of diva, like you make it about yourself.
That would fit for him. Whether it's him doing it or others, he was a very big marketer. He was in magazines.
But does that make you a diva? It sounds like what he did, was it negative?
I think the phrase is only partially negative. If you put yourself above the team, even if you do well for the team, you could be considered a diva. That's Joe Namath.
Well, they also have Bob Hayes of the Cowboys.
Got in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
But not in a diva way. He had personal problems.
But is this about what you do off the field, not what you do on the field?
See, I don't think a quarterback can be a diva by definition.
Is Cam Newton a diva?
He is on some diva list, but no, because he's a quarterback. He's a team leader.
But when you look at what a diva is, a self-important person. So don't you think that, I guess just by nature of the position, they're very important because of the quarterback, but wouldn't they also consider themselves to be the most important person, which would thereby make them a diva?
But is it a negative? Is their self-importance negative to the team?
Right. To be a diva, it has to be a little more negative. You can't. Well, you're not a diva, but you are the most important person.
A self-important person who's temperamental and difficult to please.
Yeah, Paul.
I think it's become a negative term, but I think anytime you separate yourself from the team and want special treatment, Michael Jordan had a separate locker room to dress in. Now, he was Michael Jordan, and he was winning, so nobody complained about Michael Jordan having a second. But that's a diva move. I want to be on my own. I want to have treatment different than everyone else because I'm me. But
I remember asking, the Chicago Bulls PR staff about Jordan having his own locker or another place to dress, and they said Jordan did that in large part because when the media came in, they surrounded his locker and made it difficult for those who were next to him. Barry Bonds had a second locker in San Francisco.
Very thoughtful of those guys to think of their teammates.
Now, Bonds was probably a diva, right? I'm going to guess it was all about Barry. Mark Gastineau probably came off as a self-promoting, selfish defensive end. Had his sack dance there. Let me see. Who else there? Andre Rison, Michael Irvin.
What about the Boz? He was kind of a diva, wasn't he? Certainly had a lot of flash and...
But you can't be tackling guys. No defensive players except Jalen Ramsey are divas. You can't. Wide receivers are divas. They're like the ballet artists of NFL. They're temperamental. They're fragile. Their egos are fragile. No other position fits like that.
Yeah, Paul.
But if Jalen Ramsey can be, Brian Bosworth can be, because they're very similar. They promoted themselves above the team at every chance they could. They called out other people every chance they could. Just because Bosworth is a linebacker doesn't make a difference. I agree with Seton. Bosworth always put himself above the team when in Oklahoma.
But I don't think people called Brian Bosworth a diva. I mean, if they called him a lot of things, but It just doesn't positionally fit. Like Odell Beckham Jr. is called a diva a million times.
Well, it felt like in college, Brian Bosworth was a diva. In the pros, he didn't turn out to be that good.
Dormant.
Yeah, but at Oklahoma,
he was a superstar.
Yes, but it was about him.
Rightfully so. He was amazing.
Okay.
I feel like I'm looking up diva and it's always attached to receiver. There's got to be a reason.
Well, it's attached to Joe Namath here, according to this list. I don't know if there's a difference in the style in which you play, the style in how you dress. And then there are players who take away from their team. Terrell Owens took away from his team. Antonio Brown took away from his team. Le'Veon Bell took away from his team. You know, there are certain players who did something that was negative for their team and affected their team. Joe Namath, unless you say, well, he didn't take care of himself and stayed out and he associated with gamblers or whatever, it is, Joe Namath still pulled off one of the great upsets in football history. And he didn't do it with his arm in that Super Bowl against the Colts. They ran the football and played great defense. It wasn't like, he said, I got to throw the ball. It's got to be about me. Hey, I made this prediction. We're going to beat the Colts. Now I have to throw the ball. It didn't turn out that way. Yeah, Fritzy.
When I hear the word diva, I think it's someone that thinks that they're better than everyone else in some way. If you're insecure or you need to be looked at because you're wearing wild clothes or a fancy car or whatever, that to me, you're not hurting anyone else. You're not saying I'm better than everyone else. You're just that's your thing and you're just kind of promoting yourself, not at the expense of other people. But
I think Cam Newton is just stylish. Now you may draw attention to yourself. I mean, is Russell Westbrook a diva? The way he dresses? I don't know. Is LeBron a diva?
Oh, we got 2 days?
I'm just saying, he's a great team player. It's about him. It was about him his first year with the Lakers. Did he become a diva? Has he always been a diva? Like the definition, but he still, all those years go to the NBA Finals. Like it's weird to be selfish, but also being selfish makes your team great. And in basketball, LeBron can be selfish, but his team has results here. Yes,
somebody just brought up a great one, and I think it's perfectly accurate. Tim Tebow is a diva.
No, really?
Remember when he came on set and he had 4 SUVs full of people rushing him in? He was always surrounded by people and nobody could take any pictures, and then they hurried him right back out. That's special treatment. That's diva treatment.
Wow. You're messing with the big guy upstairs.
That's okay.
You're all right with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
The Tebow when he would kneel. Tebow
Wing.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, maybe.
Did a whole. He's probably the only minor league baseball player in history to have a press conference every day.
Well, that's because we demanded it.
Right.
We wanted to hear from Tim Tebow.
In Binghamton, New York, they were really clamoring. Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
So Tim Tebow. Diva. I always liked that Tebow got credit, for pulling out a win. But Tebow, just hold on. Let me just say this real quick. Man, I don't want to upset him up there. But Tebow would put his team in the position where he did have to make something great happen because the first 3 quarters he didn't play great. It was always Tebow time. Yeah, Paul.
You'll never see a player try harder than me, not we. He didn't say you'll never see a team try harder than us.
Than we.
There's a lot of eyes in that speech.
Okay.
That emblazoned speech. Isn't it in cobblestone?
They have
stone,
a statue.
40 feet high.
Is there a statue of Tebow?
No. There's a, I think down at Florida, there's a plaque of his speech after I think it was the Ole Miss loss or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
No one will try harder than me. No one will walk on water like me.
Wow.
You guys want to go after Roger Staubach, me, Rockney? Who's next? I think they're Tim Tebow. Come on. The dude was scrambling around for 8-yard runs in the NFL. He's not a diva.
Staubach focused on...
Beckham Jr. is a diva.
Staubach
was a ham and egger in the NFL.
Staubach was focused on his country, didn't care about his team.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.